Welcome to the tutorial for AlphaLab's settings menu. This is where you configure the app's preferences, check that everything is ready before trading for real, and manage your license. We'll go through the 3 tabs, one by one, covering every box, every selector, and every button, so you have no doubts. The settings menu has 3 tabs. General, with the interface preferences and the system paths. Pre-flight check, the list of verifications you must pass before starting the daemon in production. And license, where you view and manage your AlphaLab license. All the preferences in the General tab are saved to the GUI_state.json file inside your user folder, and changes apply when you press Save. Let's start at the top, the refresh cadence. The first setting is the auto-refresh cadence. How often, in seconds, AlphaLab rereads the portfolio state and repaints the dashboard and the live monitor. The minimum is 15 seconds and the default is 60. Raising it lowers CPU usage, but it delays the detection of critical events, such as a frozen strategy or a score drop. Keep in mind this change applies on the next app start, as the text on the right notes. In the layout section, you'll find the Start with Sidebar Collapsed checkbox. If you tick it, when you open AlphaLab, the navigation sidebar starts closed, leaving more room for charts and tables. Because it affects how the window is built, this change applies on the next app start. Right below is the Restore on Start drop-down, which decides which menu opens when you start AlphaLab. You can choose from all the app's menus: Dashboard, Discovery, Leaderboard, Portfolio, Rotation, Live Monitor, Signals, Data, and Settings itself. By default, it opens on the dashboard, but if you work daily in a specific menu, set it here and save yourself a click every time. In the Notifications section, you control the system pop-up alerts, the ones that appear in the Windows Action Center when a portfolio alert changes, a frozen strategy, a score drop, and so on. The Mute Toast Notifications checkbox turns them off, but note, even when muted, events are always written to the log file and the live monitor panel, so you don't lose any information. Next to it, the cooldown field sets the minimum seconds between 2 consecutive alerts, so it doesn't spam you. The default is 60 seconds. The Themes section controls the look of the interface. For now, only the Dark Pro theme is available, a palette based on GitHub Dark and JetBrains Darkula, so the selector appears locked on purpose. Light mode is planned for a future release, G6, as the text on the right notes. The System Paths section is a read-only panel that shows you exactly where AlphaLab saves and looks for every file. It's very useful for backups or for support. At the top are the global paths, shared by every market. The repository root, the Parquet data cache, the MLflow database with the experiments, the broker credentials, and the GUI state. Below, each market, starting with forex and indices, has its own isolated runtime in its own folder, with its DuckDB catalog, its portfolio state, its live ranking, and its signal tracker. The green check on the left means the path already exists, the gray dot, that it hasn't been created yet. You can't edit these paths from here, only review them. Bottom right is the action row. The blue Save Settings button persists all your changes to the GUI_state.json file. The Reset to Defaults button returns each field to its recommended value. Remember to press Save afterwards so it sticks. And Open Runs folder opens the folder where the results live directly in the File Explorer. One important detail, muting toasts takes effect instantly, but window and refresh changes apply on the next start, just as the confirmation message tells you when you save. The second tab is the pre-flight check. Before starting the daemon that trades with real money, it's wise to verify everything needed is in place: credentials, alert channels, storage, dependencies, and active strategies. Press the Run Pre-Flight Check button and AlphaLab runs around 15 checks in roughly 5 to 10 seconds. It does not run by itself when you open the tab, and that's deliberate. One of the tests sends a real test message to Telegram, so it only runs when you ask for it. When you launch the check, the central table fills with each verification, grouped by category. OINDA verifies that the API key and account ID are configured, that it connects to the broker, and that the balance is greater than 0. Telegram, email, and webhook check that each alert channel is actually working. Telegram even sends a test message. Storage reviews that the data catalog is readable, that the signal tracker and the logs are writable, that the portfolio state is valid JSON, and that there are at least 5 GB of free disk. Daemon Deps confirms that the daemons modules import, that the health port 8765 is free, and that the watchdog is configured. And Strategies validates that every active strategy has its best _params in the ranking, the same ones the daemon will use at boot. When it finishes, the top banner shows the aggregate verdict like a traffic light. Green means everything is okay and the daemon is ready to launch. Amber means there are warnings, you may launch, but at a known risk. And red means there's a failure and you must fix it before launching. Bottom left is the bypass override checkbox. It lets you ignore the red block and start anyway, but it leaves an explicit warning in the log, and you should only use it in testing. A client waiting for signals should never see red checks in production. And on the right, Open Last Report opens the saved result of the last run in JSON format, so you can reread it or share it with support without rerunning it. The third tab is License, where you view and manage your AlphaLab license, which is stored in the license.json file in your user folder. In this screenshot, it shows the message, no active license, because none has been activated yet. In that case, the panel tells you to restart AlphaLab, so the activation screen opens. On that screen, you enter 2 things: your license key, in the format YLPH- and 4 blocks of 4 characters, and your email. You press Activate, and, if everything is correct, the license is registered on this PC and the usage manual opens. When you do have an active license, this same panel shows all its details: the license key with almost all characters masked for security, the contracted plan or tier, your email, the expiry date, the activation date, and when it was last validated against the server. It also shows the machine ID, an identifier for this PC. Each license can be activated on a maximum of 2 machines. If the last validation is more than a week old, an orange warning appears reminding you to validate before 30 days elapse. Below the panel, you have 3 buttons. Validate Now rechecks your license against the server and updates the last validation date. In trial mode, it appears disabled because the trial is local. Deactivate this machine erases the license from this PC. The next time you open AlphaLab, you'll have to activate it again. This is very important. If you want to move your license to another computer, deactivate here first, because the activation on the server stays assigned to this machine ID. And by /renew, opens your browser at the pricing page to purchase or renew your plan. And that's the whole settings menu. In short, in general, you adjust the refresh, the layout, the notifications, and the theme, review the system paths, and press save. In pre-flight, check you verify everything is ready before trading for real, and heed the green, amber, or red traffic light. And in license, you see your license status and validate, deactivate, or renew it. In the next videos, we'll cover the rest of the menus in the same detail.